Making some terrible noises. Did you say he's on his way?
Oh, let's just start at 7 o'clock anyway. Okay, can we make a start? Good evening everyone, welcome to tonight's meeting dated the 1st of February. Before we start the meeting proper, I think I should, this is the first day of Andrew's appointment as the new clerk. I'm sure we all wish him well. It's a challenging role, and I'm sure the whole council will give him the full support and look forward to good relationship in the future.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. On to the business. The first item is apologies for absence.
Absolutely no apologies, Chair.
No apologies. I believe Councillor Dobson's on his way. Dobson. Item 2 is declarations of interest.
Yeah, well, for the priest, after my priest.
Use your mic, please, Keith.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, for the priest, after my priest act by us, so that the club interest.
Sorry, Chair.
It's not necessary. I've been assured of that.
All
When you
right.
look at that, thanks anyway. So, no declarations then. So item 3 is town council meetings. To approve the minutes of the council meeting held on the 18th of January 2024 as detailed in the minute book. No comments? Someone propose?
I'll propose.
Second?
Yeah.
All in favour? Yes, it's passed.
Yeah. Can I just request that all votes from now on recorder, please?
Yeah. And just before I move on to the next item, there was an incident at the last meeting. I'd like to bring in Councillor Bacon, who wants to make a short statement about what happened and why, if you don't mind.
You ready?
Yeah.
The last meeting I swore at my phone. It wasn't at any member of the public whatsoever, because I am getting nasty emails and my phone is monitored 24/7 by West Yorkshire Police. It's in the hand of West Yorkshire Police tonight, which they're downloading everything, and I have to go pick it up after this meeting. But I apologise, but I was swearing at my phone, not at anybody in the public.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Can I come in there?
Yes, Vicky.
Yeah.
No. I was going to say when it finished, but Vicky can come in here because it's councillors' meeting.
I can shout.
Yeah, Vicky.
Right. So I can confirm, and I did speak to someone as well after the meeting and explained that Councillor Bacon was actually, he had a message come through, well, several. There were several who were going crackers with his phone, and he was trying desperately to turn his phone off. So I can confirm that's what he was swearing at, because he was swearing at the phone.
That's much appreciated, Vicky, and thank you very much.
No, I did mention it as well
Yes, you did
to
it.
another person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think that clears that matter. We've had an apology and that's
That's it, Stan. It's in hand of West Yorkshire Police. They're dealing with it. They're downloading everything, and they're going to let me know and what they're doing. Okay?
Okay, Ernie, thank you. On the subject of the... We've been pretty flexible. We've been flexible with public involvement at meetings, but tonight's meeting, being quite involved, it might take some time. So, just to remind everyone, this is a meeting of councillors with public observation, not public involvement. So I won't be taking any questions until we come to public question time. So if you could just bear with us and cooperate, we should get through the meeting a bit quicker and it will allow more time for public questions.
Can I just say, I know you're saying you don't want that, but the acting town clerk did actually say that you would make a statement at the beginning of the council meeting asking people to put the phones either turn
Yes.
them off or to put them on silent, and then we would have
Yeah,
that.
I did forget that, Cathy, and I'm sorry about that, but at least if people will put the phones on silent, as people are aware, some of us are carers and we have to maintain contact, but either switch it off or it should reduce these things if people at least turn the volume down, so I'd appreciate everyone would do that. So now we can move on to town number 4, which is internal auditor. To consider and approve the appointment of an internal auditor for the financial year 23-24. So if you want to speak on that.
Yes, Chair. So, ordinarily, the council would appoint an internal auditor at the beginning of the financial year. For various reasons, it hasn't happened this year. So, the council needs to appoint an internal auditor for the current financial year and determine the scope of the internal audit. My recommendation is to use Karen King, accountants, who was our internal auditor last year, and is a local accountant with good knowledge of the sector. And I would recommend that the scope of the audit remain unchanged, and that it be the adequacy and effectiveness of the accounting systems, systems of internal control, and risk assessments.
Yeah, I believe we have used Karen King in the past, haven't we?
She was our internal auditor last year, yes.
Yeah, so that's the clerk's recommendation. Shall we have a proposal for that? Second it.
I second it.
In favour, Karen King? Okay, thanks for that. Item 5 is the budget and the precept 24-25. So I'm going to hand this back to Andrew again, who will present his proposals.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So this is to determine to set the budget and determine the level of precepts for the coming financial year, and to authorise myself to issue a demand to Wakefield Council for the precept. I believe councillors at the previous council meeting have already seen some of this. In the current financial year, costs have risen. There's also been several items of unbudgeted expenditure which has reduced the reserves. With that being the case, I would recommend an increase in the precepts, and I've prepared, as councillors will have, 3 options to give an idea of the effect that that increase will have. My recommendation is to increase the band D by 8% to cover the increase in both goods and services and staffing, and to commit a certain amount to reserves to cover future capital expenditure, emergency expenditure, and other unbudgeted items.
Any councillors have a comment or questions?
Chair, can I just ask Andrew how much is in, we have got currently in, can I ask how much we've currently got in reserves?
Currently, the projected reserves for the year end are around 350,000.
And what's the requirement, legal requirement?
There is no legal requirement, but
Recommendation.
the recommendation is between 3 and 12 months expenditure, with 3 being the minimum. That would be 300,000 for us.
So,
But it is recommended to keep that amount in balances,
yes.
aside from any amount which the council may choose to spend for any purpose. So
The
obviously,
350 is our, not legal, but our recommended minimum that we go to.
we are going cutting close to the recommended minimum, yes.
Anyone else?
Chair, Councillor Rushton.
Sorry, you've got a mic there.
Sorry, I just want to put into perspective, because I do know that this is a touchy subject and it's quite a daunting subject. I think when it's worked out, it does work out at pocket change on weekly. And as a parish council, we do provide quite a lot of services for free to the parish, such as, you know, we're giving free trips, free brass band, bingo, you've got your pantomimes, free solicitor, citizens advice, we give community groups, free rent of things, the rooms, etc. that do still come at a cost, because if we're renting a room out, we can't take a booking on that room. So we do offer a lot to the parish for free, and if each parishioner does utilise what we are giving, you can take back your precept and more if you utilise what we have to offer, and no other parish councils give out as much to the parish than what Hemsworth Town Council do. So I just want people to bear that into consideration when, I mean 8% sounds like a lot, it does, but it really does work out at like weekly pocket change. So.
Yeah, thanks for that, Becca. I think Ian's done some detailed work on this, so he can explain it in a bit more detail.
Thank you. I've just written a few bits and pieces down here. If we increase the precepts by 8% on band A, it works out at 22 pence per week. If we increase it,
22 pounds.
sorry, I've got that round the wrong way. It's 33 pence. No, in band A, sorry, it's 22 pence per week. In band D, it works out at 33 pence per week. That is the increase on an 8%. As Becca's just mentioned, we do provide an awful lot of services to from Hemsworth Town Council. There's a reduced garden scheme for the elderly at reduced costs. We do reduced room hire to precept payers. We also offer free room for non-profiting groups like Andy's Man Club. There's a ladies group, Knit and Natter, play groups, AA, and various other ones. We offer Monday mornings, we do a warm space, coffee morning, warm space. That's here, and there's free food here as well as drinks. On a Wednesday, Fitzwilliam Community Centre does tea and coffee on a warm space. Fitzwilliam Community Centre events, there's 2 bingo nights with buffets arranged for April and October. In Hemsworth Community Centre, there's Brass and Bingo in April, October and December. That's the December one's combined with the Christmas do. And that includes food and free entertainment. We've also got the D-Day anniversary, including the Fun Day, which is coming up at the water park in June. That's all to be paid for as well for the community people. There are 2 bus trips go from Hemsworth to Scarborough in August. 2 bus trips go to Scarborough from Fitzwilliam and Kingsley in August as well. There's 2 buses go from the community centre here to Skipton in September. There are 2 buses go to York Christmas Market in November, and they're all free, even although there's a deposit that goes down to secure your seat, but you get that back on the day. There's bonfire night to consider on obviously November the 5th. We've got the Christmas light switch on and Santa's Grotto, which is November the 30th. We've got a panto arranged for December in the community centre here, There's also one in December up at Fitzwilliam Community Centre. They've all to be paid for, and they're all free events. We've got the Remembrance Sunday as well, which includes refreshments, and I'm quite sure we've got some other bits and pieces that have got to be done. So there's quite a substantial amount of stuff there that we provide free of charge to the community. I appreciate that not all preset payers take these offers up, but they are on offer. And for a few pence increase per week, I think it's good value.
Thanks. Ian, I think that puts things in perspective.
Sorry, so 22 pence a week for band-aids, just
Yeah.
under £12 a year.
It's £11.34.
£12.34.
Yeah.
So the clerk's recommendation is 8%. No more comments or questions. Can someone propose?
I personally, I know 8%, like you've said, sounds an awful lot,
It doesn't.
but for what there is on offer, I think it's a great deal for families around. When families are struggling, you can get access to like going to the seaside and things like that. Yeah, you've got to pay for your seat because we have people not turning up, so other people couldn't go. So I think that's quite fair, and if you're a bit skint then on day when you're going, you've got these fibres coming back for your seats that you've booked. So I personally think I agree to it.
Yeah,
I think
thanks
it's
for that,
good.
Vicky.
Can I just ask one more question, Chair, please? to
Yes,
Claire?
yeah.
So can you confirm over the last 4 years that,
Can you confirm over the last 4 years that there's only been one 3% pay rise, which was last year, and then previous to that there was no pay rises, and just look at the status of parks at the moment, that's what, because of no pay rises as well.
Correct,
so,
yes.
I think the pay rise has been quite significant, and they're all coming ahead, which we have to pay. So, and I think that at one point inflation was running at 10%. When you consider that, you'd have to charge 10% more just to stand still. So, yeah.
so can I propose to take the clerk's recommendation of 8%?
Yeah. Second.
I'll second.
Yeah. All in favour? Thank you very much for that. So item 6, self-explanatory. Consider and approve the dates for the next annual council meeting and annual town meeting.
Yeah, so this is the the annual council meeting and the annual town meeting. And I'd like to recommend, just double check my dates. Thursday the 16th of May for the annual council meeting and Thursday the 23rd of May for the annual town meeting.
Thanks, Andrew. Any comments or questions on
Those dates again? The 16th and the 23rd. Thank you.
May?
Of May.
No comments? So we propose and second?
Propose that we accept those dates?
Okay, yeah. All in favour? So moving on to item 7, which is allotments. Now, it's a request from Springfield Community Allotments to take over the land adjacent to their plot at Springfield Allotments. I believe, Paul, you wanted to speak on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what it was, me and some colleagues of the council got invited down to an open day. This community scheme was started in 2019 by the previous council, and we want to help and follow it on. When I went down, it really opened my eyes what they're doing down there, and it's open to anybody to go down to volunteer. They've got chickens, all different herbs and everything for you to, you can just go down for a coffee if you're disabled, park near the gate, sit on the seat. It is absolutely beautiful what they're doing down there, and what they're hoping to do, there's some derelict land what's being used for dumping on, and they're hoping to transform that. So I'm going to pass it over to Dean, who's in charge of the community allotment, to explain what's going to be done with that waste ground.
Thank you, Paul. So when we first got the allotment in 2019, outside the allotment were called Plot 1, and in the 80s, and before that, it was a pig allotment. So back in 80s, when regulations were brought in to own pigs, the fellas and women that had them couldn't keep them anymore. So they just knocked the buildings down and buried them in ground. So council used it as a car park for allotment users. So over time, when people were coming, all this area is overgrown outside the community allotment. So we strimmed it down, grassed it, we put a bench on it, put some like stone raised beds, it's a nice grass verge. And then we had an idea for the next bit of land to make a community orchard. So we had funding off a co-op, we had help off Open Country, and we put an horseshoe-shaped path in that's got road scarifiers on it, so wheelchair users, pushchair, anybody can walk around this orchard. And then Woodland Trust donated 10 fruit trees, which we planted out last month. So in years to come, people will be able to come down and make their own jams, chutneys, whatever they want with the fruit, their own fruit. But then that spurred another idea. This next bit of land, it's all covered in brambles, there's been piles of soil, rubbish, loads of detritus. So when Woodland Trust guy came, he was telling about hedgerows. So them brambles that are in there, they only flower and fruit once a year, only providing food, you know, for biodiversity once a year. Whereas this hedgerow, what we've got funding in place for, I'll have multiple trees, like 45% hawthorn, you know, loads of different kinds of trees, bushes and stuff. And that'll provide food all year round for your wildlife. Within that area then, we'll fill that full of wildflowers and stream a path through it for people, visitors to walk around. And that's that.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can, if you want to come, you can have a free cup of Yorkshire tea and biscuits.
I'll be popping down to see you, Paul, but I take it from that, for funding you need to be the title holder of that allotment.
Yeah.
Because I think it was
Well, we're not meant
explained.
to do anything outside the allotment, so
No.
that's why we'd like to use that land. We'll use his own funding to develop it.
Yeah, I understand, yeah. It was just that if you're going to form a trust or a charity, but at the moment we've got to put it in one person's name,
Yeah, well,
then it
community
will be
allotments,
transferred once you form the charity. You know.
it's a constituted community group.
Yeah.
It's got a bank account and everything, a committee.
Well, thanks for that, Paul.
Meetings like what you're doing, so it's Dean. I'm Paul.
Dean, sorry. Yeah.
So can I propose that, Stan?
You certainly can. Have you got
I'll
a second?
second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
That's
Oh.
all right.
Yeah, I will.
I think we're all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In favour?
Thank you.
Unanimous. So, moving on, item 8, which is the Wakefield Council local plan. I don't know if you were aware that last week, being a district councillor, I was in attendance. We were invited to adopt the local Wakefield plan, which was voted in. And I don't know if you've seen the Wakefield plan. It relates specifically to LP21 Club Terrace and Highfield Road sites, which will now move from designated green belt or agricultural land to being eligible for development. And we all know the controversy around that, but we were also advised by Gleason's, I think it was last week, that they're submitting applications for planning on their site adjacent to Club Terrace. The argument in favour of adopting the local plan was that we have to have a local plan, otherwise it will be free for all for property developers, and I voted for it for that reason. I've always had objections to Wakefield's planning housing policy, because I felt like, I think a lot of us do here, that far too many private developments and social housing is not being taken care of properly. But obviously people that disagree with that. It's resulted in increased precept to Wakefield Council. But, I believe that LP21 the application has been submitted. But that's basically it. We all know the situation around things. But, it's just for your information, the Wakefield plan has been adopted. It should limit developers using more greenbelt land especially. So, but the advice was to support the Wakefield plan and oppose applications at planning stage. So that's where we're at with that one. So, like I said, I'm sure you've got questions on that, but we'll cover that in public question times.
Can I just ask some questions, Chair? So
Yes.
obviously, this is involved by Wakefield Council. I'm just wondering if people,
I'm just wondering if people are aware that the flood risk and drainage and the ecological report is already on the portal for them to have a look at. It was put on yesterday, I believe. So I've scanned a little bit, it's not much, but there's some interesting reading around, especially around the ecological report.
I was given the full Wakefield plan. If anybody wants to look at it, I'll gladly bring it up and manage to meet with you. But yeah, specifically on LP21, it's not going to be straightforward because there's still items such as drainage, access to the site, and that's still, those requirements have to be met. As far as I'm aware, they've not been met yet. So it's not a done deal in that regard yet. So I don't know the exact date of when the meeting takes place, but it's not for banks to do it, and that is the access, you know. I think the biodiversity comes into it as well. So those are issues that they've still got to provide answers for, which they haven't done yet. I think they're a long way from the bulldozers coming in. To answer your question.
yeah, I'm just sort of saying that.
Yeah, I've got the plan if anybody wants to look.
It's on the portal so people can
I
read it for themselves.
I have scanned and sent to the clerk. You've got copies of the pages related to Hemsworth, which you're free to come and have a look at if you want. So I think that's all we can say on that. So item 9 is the Hemsworth tram race.
This is mine.
Yes, go ahead, Vicky.
Right, so before I became a councillor, I scroll on Facebook, I like Facebook, and one of our parishioners, I won't mention her name because she's in here and I haven't got permission, had put pictures on of previous pram races, Hemsworth pram race. So all this took place about Augustine. There's myself, Dean, and there are some other people on this committee. And we just thought it was an excellent idea. It looks absolutely amazing, the pictures that were put on. And we are in the process of bringing it back. This is separate to anything council.
Yeah.
This is what we started in August with the other people. So we've done loads of planning, and now we're looking at getting something like printing, laminating things, any way that the council can help us in that kind of way. So we haven't asked for any money, have we? We're not asking for money. We just want a bit of help with like printing, which is costly. You know, I get it. And laminating things, because watch this space, because the pram race is coming to Hemsworth August 11th, I believe, Dean, if my memory serves me right.
I remember them from years ago. I used to take part in them, but I think these days I'd have to be in the pram, not pushing.
Right, Stan, you've just got yourself a place, haven't you? Perfect.
I'm not putting a baby girl on.
Well, we'll be deciding of that.
So basically you're asking for
just some support, because we are a small team who are trying to get this up and running, and we just want new ideas. And this was before I became a councillor, because most of you know that I've attended town council meetings. I'm passionate about what happens in our areas. So
it sounds like a fun day for everyone.
I'm hoping it will be.
Except the pram pushers, that.
Well, you're in pram, you know, right, Stan, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't mind being pushed around, you know. In that sense, anyway. But,
So we just need a bit of help, please.
Yeah.
We, you know, like laminating, paper, and
I'm sure
obviously
we can-
we're not going to go mad about, you know,
a little bit of
costly, are we?
laminating and things like that. So,
Can I be, no, there's been one in Ackworth for quite a few years,
Yeah.
tram race. Can I be nosy? Have you got a route?
Yeah, we have.
I'm just
Uh,
curious.
So it'll start near Top Hat, then call, because like the one, we based it on Ackworth. The lady who's on this committee, she's part of Ackworth Tram Race Committee. So the idea is the teams have half whatever they want to drink in each pub along the way, accumulated at the finish. So it starts at Top Hat, goes to Hilltop, goes past Optimist to George, then back round to Optimist. Then there'll be stewards light on traffic lights, cross over at Robey to Bluebell, and then back up towards school, but take a left way at garages, back towards West End.
We're hoping the new Liquid Spirit, what's it going to be called?
Oh yeah.
We're hoping that's going to be open.
Oh well.
Across
that's
So we'll
happening.
call there as well, and then up Pear Tree Lane.
Right.
If
Right
the-
to end, Miguel.
If they can manage after all hours of whatever alcohol they've drunk.
But at
Sounds
West,
good.
Lloyd, he's on his committee as well, and he's getting funding off at Brewery to have a bit of like an event at West End Club to finish.
Yeah.
And finish where?
West
West
End
End
Club.
Club.
At West End, right. Yeah.
Can I just ask, I'm loving your idea, I really am. Is it closing roads down as well?
No.
No road
No.
closures?
No road closure. They are sensible adults.
Well, they've
so
got
it's
to be
over
18, haven't they?
18s.
even
Over
when I drunk all that
18s.
beer.
Drink driving day?
And there is only really one road to cross, and that's why we said go up to the George and then back to the Optimist. It discourages people from going across the road at the George. It brings them back to the lights. So that was, we just need stewards with no road closures. We'd looked at other routes, but that seems most sensible, and obviously the brewery, Lloyd's up at the West End, and the brewery, just they're throwing stuff at us, aren't they? They're literally, so it's going to be a fun day.
So I will take that as a motion, and if we propose
Yes,
and vote
please.
on it, then it's crystal clear.
Thank you.
So any proposals? Second?
Propose.
All in favour? No problem.
Thank you.
So, now we come to item 10, which, vote no confidence in the chairman. I'm not going to make any comment on it. I'm just going to hand it over to the vice chair to run this part of the meeting, and I'll hand it over to you, Ian.
Right, thank you. Item 10 is a vote of no confidence in the chairman. Do you have a proposer for this?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you want to say something?
yeah.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's nothing personal against Stan. I don't know Stan personally, he doesn't really talk to me, so it's absolutely nothing. I haven't got anything personally against Stan. He could be a nice man personally, I don't know. But I joined this council 4 months ago and have sat for a while and observed a multitude of things that I can't say I felt welcomed by this council. And I think I didn't join this council to be liked, I joined it to make a difference in this community, and I feel like at points that I've been met with hostility, and that sometimes things that I say aren't really taken seriously. As most of the parish have already seen, the council, well, we've had comments from parishioners that the council descends into agony quite a lot. There's quite a rift between councillors, and it is apparent to the parish. In leadership, I think a true leader should be able to lead its councillors in being respectful of each other and being able to put stop to things that aren't otherwise appropriate. And it takes a good leader to say, well, no, we shouldn't be doing this. This is wrong. I'd appreciate it if you don't. Sadly, I don't think that the chair has these attributes and it is contributing to more and more division between the councillors and the parish, and I just think that we really need someone that will step up. Not me, I don't got no intentions of wanting to be chair at all. I just do think that we need someone now to step up and really rein this council in and get things done as they should be. Because I just really don't believe that it's working right now.
I take your point, Becca, regarding leadership and so on. Things have been tense sometimes between councillors, but it's very difficult to say to somebody, don't do this, because it can be construed as you're siding with one person and you're not siding with the other.
I just think Ian in this I just think that a chair and vice chair should be able to sit back non-biasedly and be able to pick out where there's arguments, you know, everyone has arguments. But when it goes too far, which it does, the chair and vice chair should be able to just say, look, the weather's like, I'm shutting this down now, stop it. Because that's what a true leader would do. A real leader would stand there, we are all adults, and most of the stuff that is going on shouldn't be going on, we're adults. But some of the comments that are made definitely shouldn't be made. And it's at that point where morally you should be able to say that no, that comment was too far, friend or not, because I've always said to every well, I've said to Andrew, I've said to councillors, if I am wrong, call me out. If you believe that I am wrong, call me out. Because that I want to hear your opinion. And I think that should extend. As a leader, you should be able to say that this has gone too far now, because it's going to continue, and there's going to be no end to it. But because there's just no one's there saying, no, we need to stop. This is too far. You know, sometimes, and I've spoke to you about this here, sometimes it's not just an argument. It's not just your bog standard argument. Comments are made that are very, very wrong. And that's where someone needs to just step out and say, look, we can't be speaking to each other like this. Friend or not friend, we cannot speak to each other like this. Because a leader needs that attribute of being able to step away from friendships and just say, professionally, this is wrong.
I know that some of the things that you just said there, people being told not to make these comments have been made. But it's difficult for the 15 councillors all to agree with everybody, with each other. I tried a little bit to smooth things over, and I was asked or told to get off the fence and nail my colours to the mast, which is something that I'm not going to do. I will work with anybody in this council. The fact that a change of chairman at this time I don't think is going to benefit anybody. We're not far off the May cut-off point where we'll be voting for a new chairman or a continuation of the chairman that we've got at the moment. And I don't think that, personally, I don't think that a change of leadership at this time would be ideal. I just ask that all councillors be mindful of anything that they put in emails. Try not to misinterpret them. I would rather speak to somebody face to face, because the written word can be misconstrued, and it is on a regular basis. But that's all I've got to say on that subject. And if we've got a proposer for a vote of no confidence in the chair, please put forward. If there's a seconder, then we'll take a vote.
Can I just make something clear?
Yep.
That no matter which way this vote would go, it is only...
No matter which way this vote would go, it doesn't mean the chair, it's just, I forget the word, but it's just not ceremonial, it's...
It's symbolic.
Symbolic,
Symbolic.
that's the word, it's symbolic. I also think we need to add the non-apology that the council managers did not get the other month regarding the vote of no confidence in the chair.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please, Sean?
So I was just on like what Becca was saying, I'd just like to add that I think we ought to also consider the non-apology that nobody got regarding certain groups that the chair didn't give a few weeks ago. That also needs to be considered.
So, do we have a proposer?
Could I say
Yeah.
something here, please?
Yes.
Right, sorry. First of all, as a leader, I'm not looking at somebody who's going to take sides and back me up and say, Kevin, you're wrong about this. I'm looking for somebody who'll do what Sam has actually done. Despite being a carer, caring for his very old wife, carried on with his business. Everybody when Mitchell Cobb was saying, oh, Joe Bloggs needs sacking, Sally Ann needs sacking. Sam looked at it and found the legal way to do it, as with the clerk. Did it perfectly well.
Point of
and
order,
legally.
Chair, we can't discuss such things as
did it
that.
perfectly
No, can
legally.
we not discuss things like that, please, Kevin?
You've basically just admitted that you want to sack somebody there before anything will go through.
I'm just saying that you want somebody to referee.
You're speaking to Mike, we can't hear
You all want something to referee councillors, that's not their job. I think he's doing a good job, really good job.
I will say one other thing. The qualities of the chairman that we've got at the moment, yes, he's a district councillor and he's got an awful lot of contacts. We can get access to various people to discuss things like land deals and things like that. I think anybody else would find it very, very difficult to potentially get appointments with Wakefield Council as easy as he can. Personally, I think he's doing a good job, despite personal situation at the moment. And I'd just like to finish it. Vicky, I'm going to let you have the last word, and then we're going to go to a vote on this.
With all due respect, you've just washed over what Becca said about the comments that are made. Stan, he's a district councillor, but you've just basically, obviously, it's quite obvious that Becca and some others of us are quite annoyed about what we've been labelled as, and you've just brushed over that. And
Well, if that's the perception,
validated.
if that's the perception, I apologise. We have offered mediation. Hopefully, we can get various councillors together to have a chat about that. One thing on the code of conduct is leadership. Sometimes by not commenting is leadership. And I've been copied into an awful lot of those emails and I haven't commented on them. That's personal choice. Right, got a proposer, a seconder. Yeah. Right. Can we have a vote of no confidence in the chairman, please? Yeah, hands up, keep hands up, please. So that's for the no confidence.
6.
6. And a vote against that. 9. I just hope, I'm just going to say another couple of words, I just hope that councillors will be mindful of writing anything down in emails, potentially replying to them because they've been misconstrued. I would like to get some mediation together between councillors, for certain councillors. I'm quite prepared to come along to that.
I don't think anything in those emails that I've had is misconstrued at all. And yes,
But obviously I disagree.
you said to me, Ian, that, well, like, I give you my terms of mediation.
Can I have a point of
And
order,
mediate
please?
if-
Councillor Kendall's
Good.
threatening
Go.
again.
Point of order
Right,
here.
and I want to write him
Will you
down.
stop pointing at me? Will you stop pointing at
Stop
me?
staring me out and doing that with you every time I come up. Eh? Yeah, you know what you do. I want a point of order and I want it writing down so I can reference it, please.
Well, put it
Can
on the
record
list,
this,
Sharon,
please.
what you're
Put
still
it on
saying.
chat. What your councillors vote to this vote.
Put it on WhatsApp.
The position has
Not on
been
WhatsApp,
held.
love.
You are.
Got no
No, I'm not.
confidence
You
in
are.
this
No.
council.
Yeah, you are.
This vote on
Can we-
the position goes
No,
to the
this,
commissioners.
this part of the meeting's over.
There's only you that I have no confidence in him.
Right, can we come to order, please? Can we come to order?
And you're too short.
If we're going to move to public question time, the vote's been counted. I remain the chair, and I thank those that supported me. I don't agree with the criticism, but I'm not going to debate it here. If you want to move on to public question time, then it will be an orderly meeting. No shouting and bawling, or I will close the meeting. It's as simple as that. So we'll take public questions now, and I think you had your hand up first, Steve.
Right. Is there any rules on why is there any rules on councillors? Is there any rules on councillors sitting in office? Any data protection or out? Why councillors can sit in that office out there?
There are rules for
Sit on
council
desks.
behaviour, and it's such that they shouldn't mix with working with staff in the way that you're implying, you know, and it's the same throughout the council, you know. Employees should be left to get on with the job, and I'm aware of what you're saying, but no one should go into that admin block unless they've got a reason to be there and make an appointment. I don't turn up there. I always check with the clerk if I need to see him, and we arrange a meeting, you know. And that should be the same for everybody else, you know.
Well, why, right, well, Councillor Rushmore is spouting off all...
Please don't mention names, Tina, that way.
Well, she's spouting off all the holier than thou, then. Why can she always sit in that, in that desk?
No, we can't go down this road, Tina. I'd ask you not to do that.
It does laugh.
It's, I'm a happy kind of person.
Right, I've got another question
Yeah,
as
but
well.
look, it's been dealt with, it's a staffing issue and we can't really discuss it. And
I've got
please
another
don't
question
mention
as well.
names.
Can I just have this one question? Over Christmas holidays, Hemsworth Water Park, the door were open from Christmas till, you know, Christmas Day till 27th of December. That door were open.
Yes, I'm aware of that, yeah.
How come no one done about it when you've got security up there?
I think, has that been discussed today in the meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I, you know more about this?
I don't know about this.
You got the report.
Yeah, I can say a little bit on this. There was, yeah, the fire exit from the upstairs at the water park was open. I can't say exactly how long it was open for. I became aware of it on, was it the 27th?
Yeah.
At which point I went down to the water park myself and closed it. I'm not sure how long it had been open. Although it is difficult, I know it is difficult to access that door. And as far as I can tell, it hasn't caused any damage or loss.
25th they were open, and it was still open on 27th. So that's quite a few days that that's open. So when they've got security they're paying for up there, why is it not spotted or shut or It's a fire door. It doesn't just blow open.
We've got a general manager to do that, look.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So why
no,
weren't
sorry.
you doing it?
No. Peter, please don't do that.
That needs to be looked into, to be fair, doesn't it?
Yes, and
I got told about it from a friend of mine who took photographs
I'm
of
going
it being open.
to ask Andrew now if he could look into that into more detail and come up with a response and answer to that.
Yeah, okay.
So, yes, Cathy.
Right, going back to vote of no confidence, we had a discussion about leadership, etc. Can I just point out that the chat group...
No, we're not going to discuss that. We've been through this before. It is not a matter for Hemsworth Town Council. It is not a matter for Hemsworth Town Council, and we're not going to discuss it. That's the end of it. It is not. If we don't have, if we try and go there, the meeting will be closed, I promise you. We're not going to have a disorderly meeting because we're going to sit with this. Do not interrupt, please.
I am just saying as
If
a
you want to know,
leader,
Cathy, and I've told you, and we've discussed it before, it is not a matter for Hemsworth Town Council to discuss. Private chat groups have nothing to do with this council.
But nobody said what anybody was saying was wrong. Nobody said what you were saying
Because we're not going to
was
discuss
wrong.
it here. It's only the business of the people that were in that chat group. If somebody leaves it, that's up to them. I'm not going to discuss it. This is the last chance to say it. It's not a discussion that we're going to have in this meeting. If you persist, we'll close the meeting. Have we got any questions about anything else? Yes, Paul. Yes, Jason, sorry.
Earlier on we talked about the increase in precept, and it obviously we talked about by band and per week, etc. per year. Can I just ask, what's the actual net effect for the year, and what extra income does it bring in terms of town council?
No, that's one for the...
Yeah, you can, yeah. Just bear with me a second. Yeah, so the precept to be levied is £864,600, which is an increase of about 59,000 on the current year.
Okay, so what's the current run rate at the minute per year? So the funds have been slowly depleted, and we know reasons why, dealing with more maintenance and things like that. So the question refers to more, is that going to assist in making sure that the funds are no longer depleted and that they start to build again, or does that still leave a negative impact?
So that will obviously cover the increase in costs, but it will also, there is a commitment in there to reserves, to start building reserves up again. I would always recommend, well, provided there's need for it, the council commit something to reserves each year to build it up over time.
Understand. And one other question. I think, and it's not because I disagree, I think the prom race is a really good idea and I'm very supportive of it. Obviously it wasn't a financial ask, but it was an ask for support. Does that need declaring at the beginning of the meeting so that there's no comebacks, because the talk of support would still be a cost to the council, i.e. paper, laminating, things like that, but at the beginning of the meeting there was no interest raised. So just because I don't want it to come back on anybody, because
You're talking about pecuniary interest. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I wouldn't have thought that was necessary. No, it's not asking for money really, you know, so just assistance.
It's quite right, it does have a...
Yeah, I understand it, yeah.
It is money, because
maybe that would have been the best thing to do, but
impact, so,
yeah.
And it's just because I do support it, I think it's a good idea, and I don't want someone to come...
No, I understand, yeah. Maybe that's one.
My apologies, it's because I put it on there. And it just didn't enter my head. My apologies. I should have.
Yeah, we're learning now. So we'll bear that in mind for the future. Yes, Julie.
As you mentioned, obviously the item on the local plan.
Yes.
Can I ask what HTC's plan is towards helping the community and delivering the local plan? What exactly are you setting out as your plan to do?
I think we already passed a resolution and declared our opposition to LP21. We offered, any time you want a public meeting, we'll facilitate the venue, as in this. We also offered, well, any assistance that we could. So, then I said right back in and said, what would you like us to do? If you want a public meeting, we can facilitate
There's
that.
quite a lot that we need to do. I have been in discussions with Councillor Middleton. You are one of our ward councillors as well, which if you could spend some time up on the ward with the other ward councillors, we have got a list of elderly and housebound that need help with the letters and the objections. Our HTC aware, I'm sure you are, Andrew, from the portal that's been downloaded and put. I've got all copies here of the ecological report and the drainage report. I have been 2 hours today in a meeting with our district councillor, Melanie Jones, who's been an absolute tremendous support on this, visiting residents' homes, helping with the letters, but we have a lot of residents that need a lot of help. So it's not just a matter of putting a letter in of HTC support. Are the other councillors aware that one individual letter would not survive?
Yes.
It's down to individual councillors that do support the residents to show their support with an objection letter.
I think they were well briefed on that at the public meetings, I recall.
Okay. Can I just ask if any of the HTC councillors have submitted any objections, not under the HTC councillor banner, but actually as an individual person? I do have some of the councillors, thank you, Councillor Stevens, Councillor Ken, I've got your letters, but are there any other councillors that's done individual letters to raise objection to LP21?
I don't think it's a legitimate, the question should be directed to the chair. If councillors want to declare that they've done that or not, that's up to them. They don't have to.
I haven't done it yet, but it will be done in time.
So can I ask then on behalf of the residents, we have a working party group, as you know, you've attended one of the meetings. Can we put forward regarding funding, out of the community funding, which I've discussed today regarding banners, posters, a reporter is involved with the press, TV, everything's been put in place. So we need now to see HTC standing up and saying what you did say in your chat, but you are now supporting the residents of this community against the development, and it's time to stand up, all of you, and show your support.
I've never said anything different, Julie, and I'm not aware any of the councillors, we've all been
You called
opposed.
it baby. You said it was our baby and you were having nothing to do with it.
You know I was referring to the campaign that you conducted. I have reservations about that. I have never supported LP21. I've always objected to it. Long before, I have said earlier on, I have opposed LP21 and Wakefield's housing policy for years, long before LP21 became an issue.
That's great. Show it.
And that's it.
Let's get a public meeting, got residents.
No,
let's get
well,
everybody on
can
board.
I make an alternative suggestion? That we have a meeting with district councillors, who are the ones that's leading on this, not HTC, right? And we will facilitate a meeting. But I do think that if you want to oppose something, to give out your strategy in a public meeting is rather giving the game away, you know.
Well, big facts know the strategy, don't they? Everybody says they're supposed to bangs.
Well, this is my it's my personal view that walking around Hemsworth with banners and posting things, I don't think Wakefield Planning or the Cabinet are going to take any notice of that. That has been my reservation, and the issues have already, I think Sean's has brought them up. There are issues that have got yet to be met, and that's where we need to tackle it. That is John Trickett's view. I know you've had conversations with John, so have I, and that's the way he's opposed it. He's very knowledgeable on the subject, so I would suggest a meeting with the district councillors, the chair, vice chair, and hopefully John Trickett to discuss a strategy that we can put to the public. Because I really don't think walking around with banners and that is going to work. I think the public are well aware of it. Yes, Jason.
So first off, I'll say I've got nothing to do with that development.
No.
It's not. but I am very experienced in housing developments. So, not to, I'll just give you my opinions, not on the development, but banners, objection letters, waste your time. And I know that sounds wrong saying that, but it's an allocated time. Allocated means it's gone through the due diligence process with Wakefield Council and it's in their housing strategy. Wakefield have to provide that housing strategy. The two ways around it, saying objections over traffic, all this, it gets nowhere. You can either find gaps in the planning policy, which could then be substantive, that's one way around it, and the other way, and I don't think way one will get you anywhere by the way, my advice would be not to actually be opposing of the scheme, but support a reduced scheme or do something to make it so that whatever is passed works for the community. Because look back in case history, very, very rare, an allocated site will be opposed. It will go to committee, it won't be delegated, it will go to committee and or it will go to planning inspectorate. Just the planning inspectorate you've lost because government will always follow allocated sites. So my advice would be find something that suits you better than putting objections forward over traffic and things like that the planners will not consider because I'm involved in that process, I understand it, I say it day in, day out, and genuinely, 1,000 letters saying traffic's busy, there's too many houses, there's too much this, they will not consider.
What we've got today, Jason, no disrespect, we've actually got a fantastic ecological assessment report to all endangered species that have been found.
There you go, but that goes back to what I referred, that's a substantive planning policy. Because planning policy states you can't endanger certain species, grey-crested newts, things like that. So that is something, but that's not telling them traffic's a problem, that's saying we found something.
Years ago, we've had all that, Jason.
Yeah.
So, but these reports are what's only, I've got my hands on them today, have only just been published for certain people to have. I believe Councillor Bates says you've read it, particularly all the ecological ones, am I correct?
Have I read them? I'm sure I did, yeah. I've read every document that was there. You know, I've tried to get as familiar with it as I can, but and I think Jason's alluding to what I'm saying. It's going to happen, but we've got to get the best out of it, make the best out of it, and change it to the best we can for the community. You know, and
just so you're aware, badgers and grey-crested newts are the two things that cause the biggest problem to developers, but it doesn't stop development.
Yeah.
All it will do is you'll have yeah, I'm trying to be helpful. I'm not, you know, I'm trying to say don't waste your time with banners and spend money on it because while it'll make you feel better, I get that, and other people will see it, it won't make a difference.
It's not a matter of feeling better.
it might not be appreciated, but that is what I'm trying to do.
I'm just saying that.
Can we just have one person speaking at a time? If you want to comment, you can go. Put your hand up.
All I'm saying is
basically
a banner will make some.
If you don't stop, I'm going to close the meeting.
Buying a house on there.
Meeting's closed. Thank you.
There you go. Go on again, Mr. Cameron.
This is my opinion.
We have an only meeting or we don't have a meeting.
Early night football.